Ruth chapter 4. Boaz. Naomi has said that Boaz will not rest until this redeeming is done and she is restored back to Israel. So we have Judgment Day. We have Judgment Day, and this is representative of the first Adam and his judgment, how he was put over Eve in the garden in Genesis chapter 3, and it is his responsibility to redeem the woman and care for the woman, and their land has been lost, right? The first Adam has failed, and so we have Judgment Day coming up. So Boaz has gone up to the gate, and according to the law, that's where the meetings, when you want a judgment passed on someone, you go to this gate. And the kinsman comes up to Bozeman, and as he walks through the gate, Bozeman says, "Come and sit down," And he took 10 of the elderlies of the city, verse 2, right? And they're fixing to have a sit down. And they sat down there, and they sat down, right? In verse 3, right? Boaz, he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land which was our brother's, and Naomi's husband there, and it needs redeemed, is what Boaz is fixing to get at, right? And I thought to advertise thee, saying, Buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, right? So Boaz is given this first kinsman chance to do what is right? And he should have already done it. Boaz has been taking care of Naomi and Ruth. It was actually this first kinsman's responsibility, and now Boaz is being blunt with him. It's Judgment Day. He has set the elders down, right? And he says, But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know, for there is none to redeem it besides thee. Right? So he's the man. The first kinsman is the man. He's supposed to do this. And I am after thee. Right? He is second in the line. He's referring to the second Adam. Right? And he says, I will redeem it. Right? Then said Boaz, What day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. Now, this is a little bit hard to understand in today's age, but then it was this first kinsman's responsibility to restore his brother and his family and give a male to inherit the land, as if to restore that brother, right? So his brother, this first kinsman, is not going to get anything out of this. He doesn't get the land, he doesn't get the property or the wives or anything. He's only going to give a first son, right, to redeem this land, referring to Christ there. And, so it's a lot out of his pocket, right? And the kingman said, verse 6, I cannot redeem it, right? For myself, lest I mar my own inheritance. Now, he's probably referring to, if he was to take on this strain, it would even destroy what he has. Now, in correlation to Jesus Christ, right, the price was death. And so Adam, the first Adam, could never pay that penalty. And this is also showing in that this first kinsman would have lost all that he had to take on this big responsibility of Ruth and Naomi. So we're going to see another issue here that's really important. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. So he's expressing this in front of these judges, and this is Judgment Day, that Boaz has called upon him. Verse 7, now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing. For to confirm all things, a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor. And this was a testimony in Israel. Okay, so this is a sign of what the serpent did to the first Adam. Where did he bite? Where was the bite? It was on the ankle. It was on the foot. And this is a sign that there was a trouble, a stumbling block, or an inability, correct, to perform. And this is why this was a testimony in Israel. And they would have known this, right? Oops. And Boaz said to the elders and to all the people, ye are witnesses this day, right? And how bought all that was, and all that was of the other two brothers. So what is he saying, right? It was the Naomi's husband and her two sons had failed, right, even in death. And so the woman here is desolate. And so Boaz has bought their troubles. He has bought their deeds. He has bought to restore. Boaz didn't get nothing out of this. Boaz is doing this to restore the land, right? But I think he does get Ruth as a wife, but he would not had to do that. Alright, so Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mohan, I can't say that name, have I purchased to be my wife, right? So he is going above and beyond. He is taking Ruth, this woman that is a bold woman. She is righteous. She'll let you have it. She is stubborn. A virtuous woman, and kind of woman you want, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off among his brethren, right? From the gate of his place, you are witnesses this day, right? And so he's going to marry Ruth in verse 11, right? And all the people that were at the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. So the judgment needs two or more witnesses. and he has them. And the Lord made the woman that is come into the house like Rachel and like Leah. Now, Rachel and Leah are the mother of the first patriarchs, the first 12 sons of Jacob. Okay? So, which two did build the house of Israel? And Jacob's name was Israel. So this is referring to the lineage, right? And to do worthily in Ephrat, or whatever that name is, and be famous in Bethlehem. All right. And let their house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah. Right? So those are famous stories that I hope one day I can get into. They're really, especially Tamar and Judah there. That's a great story. The seed of which the Lord shall give thee this young woman. Right? So they're saying, you're going to be famous over this. This is a big deal in Israel. This is not a normal thing, right? This was abnormal. This is prophetic. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife, right? Verse 13. And she bare a son. All right, now, who's going to receive this son? The son is to restore the son that was lost, right? Now, the woman said unto Naomi, now Ruth being the woman, be the Lord which hath not left thee this day without a kinsman. So she has a kinsman here now, right? That his name may be famous in Israel, right? And he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life. So even though Boaz is known as the restorer, so is this child. It's two rows here. You got a marriage of the woman and a child that is born to restore the land. So this child and Boaz share in the same rows of restoration, right? Now, 17, there is a son born, who to? Naomi. Naomi gets to name the child. Naomi raises the child, correct? There is a son born to Naomi. See, not to Ruth. It was a restoration of a son that had been lost, and they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David, King David. And so you see the story of Christ, and it also gives us a look into Judgment Day. It was time for the first Adam to restore the woman, or to give it up. And we see that Judgment Day at Christ in the restoration of the woman. And we are that woman. We are that bride. We are that child, right? That is restored back unto the Father. Okay? Now, people are going to go, well, I thought Judgment Day was coming. The Judgment Day of the first son, the first Adam, has came. The Judgment Day of Christ is coming. So you have two judgment days. We are told that we will be judged for every word that we speak, and we will. But the judgment day of the first Adam has already came, and came at Christ. Well, anyway, this is the last book of Ruth. It just gives so much glory to Christ, and it shows how Christ never left the woman, how God was always with the woman, and how loving God is.